Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first meeting in 2021 of the Oldham County Fiscal Court. Today is January 5th, 2021. I'm David Vogel, Oldham County Judge Executive. Happy to have you join us. We're on our Zoom meeting again, which is being shown live on Facebook. If you have a question for the court, we're able to accept them through the chat feature on Zoom, so we will accept the questions and try to answer them. Come up if they're appropriate, if they don't get answered during the meeting. First thing, we'll ask our clerk to please call.
Would you like to say the Pledge of Allegiance first, Judge?
Well, I was going to do it after everybody could say it first. Sure.
Okay.
Well, we'll do that. I guess that's the first thing. So if everybody wants to, if you can stand where you are, please do so, and we'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Denise, please call the roll.
Magistrate Likens? Is he there?
He's here.
You're muted, Brent.
He's muted.
Magistrate Tice?
Here.
Magistrate Harrison?
Here.
Magistrate Greenwell?
Here.
Magistrate Hounds?
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins?
Here.
Magistrate Dye?
Here.
Magistrate Logston?
Here.
Judge Vogel?
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any additions anyone would like to make?
Judge, I'd like to have a moment to talk about a finance committee meeting coming up. About the police issue under shifts.
All right.
It's a short moment.
All right. We'll add that after personnel number J, after under personnel.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Now we'll ask Denise Clark, our fiscal court clerk, to please read the minutes from our final meeting in the 2020. That was on December 15th.
The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. via Zoom and Facebook Live with Judge Executive David Vogel, Assistant County Attorney Tate Combs, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Albert Harrison, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Stephanie Hawkins, Bob Dye, and Michael Logston. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the agenda as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting minutes from December 1st, 2020 were read aloud and approved unanimously. Judge Executive Vogel noted during the reading of the minutes from December 1st, 2020, it was described that Special Judge Karen Conrad dismissed the case regarding the tax increase implemented by the Oldham County Extension District Board in 2017. County Attorney John Carter declined to accept the judgment by Judge Conrad and has appealed the case to the Kentucky Court of Appeals. The Extension District Board and Judge Executive Vogel have been added back into the parties of the case. It will take 4 months to a year to have the issue resolved. Leanne Comer, Preparedness Coordinator, Health Education Director at the Oldham County Health Department, provided an update on COVID-19. County Jailer Mike Simpson presented Sergeant Jimmy Walker with a plaque recognizing Jimmy for his 20 years of service to the citizens of Oldham County. Police Chief Greg Smith presented Major Neil Johnson, Assistant Chief of Police, with a plaque recognizing him for his 20 years of service to the citizens of Oldham County. Chief Smith also recognized the following officers for outstanding achievements. New recruit Mason Klein graduated at the top of his class with a 96% average, and Officer David Ingram was selected as Officer of the Year. During public comment, Larry Kaiser expressed his appreciation for Jimmy Walker. Motion made by Magistrate Logston and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to authorize the payables as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison and seconded by Magistrate Helms to authorize the judge executive to sign the annual service contract agreement with Advanced Systems Technology, Inc. in the amount of $5,748 as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion amended by Magistrate Harrison and seconded by Magistrate Helms to authorize the judge executive to sign the annual service contract agreement with Advanced System Technologies, Inc. in the amount of $5,478 as submitted, with the later addition of a non-disclosure agreement addendum. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Logston to authorize the judge executive to sign the lease extension agreement and amendment for the 117th Congress District Office located at 110 West Jefferson Street, LaGrange, in the amount of $0 as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Helms and seconded by Magistrate Dye to authorize the judge executive to sign the COVID-19 Relief Fund Memorandum of Agreement to receive the second round of CARES money in the amount of $770,311 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Logston to accept the resignation of Adrian Hughes effective 12/1/2020 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison to postpone the termination of Mark Husband effective 12/19/2020 as submitted until the fiscal court meeting on January 9th, 2021. Discussion followed. Magistrate Harrison withdrew his motion. Motion made by Judge Executive Vogel and seconded by Magistrate Tice to enter into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, Section 1, subsection F, discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee, member, or student without restricting that employee's, members, or student's right to a public hearing if requested. Motion carried unanimously. Judge Executive Vogel invited the following individuals to attend in addition to the fiscal court members: Tina Schaaf, Director of Human Resources, and Tate Combs, Assistant County Attorney. Motion made by Magistrate Tice and seconded by Magistrate Logston to reconvene the open meeting. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Tice and seconded by Magistrate Likens to terminate Mark Husband effective 12/19/20 due to physical incapacity. Motion carried 7-2. Magistrates Harrison and Hawkins voted no. Motion made by Judge Executive Vogel and seconded by Magistrate Logston to reappoint Jason Greer to the Oldham County Water District Board with the term to expire 1/1/2025 as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Tice to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting adjourned at 4:10 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from December 15th. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
So moved.
Right. Are there any, I do have one question I raised. I believe, Denise, you said that Magistrate Harrison asked for the personnel decision we discussed to be postponed until, yeah, I believe you said January 9th, but shouldn't that be January 5th?
He had asked for the second meeting in January to have it postponed until the second meeting in January.
Okay, well, that wouldn't be the 9th either.
It was 19th.
You said 19? Okay.
Yes.
I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. All right. Any other discussion about the minutes? Hearing none, all, pardon?
I just want to say one thing. If somebody asks me a question, I don't answer. My computer's been locking up today, so I just got it pushed off and came back on. So please, I'm not trying to avoid somebody. If they ask me a question, I just can't get to it.
Okay, sure. No problem. All right. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. I mentioned earlier that if we have any individuals who like to raise a question during public comment, they can do so by submitting their question on the Zoom chat line. Now, at this point, I'd like to bring forward our Oldham County Health Director, Matt Rhodes, to give us a report on where we stand in relation to the coronavirus vaccine and containment of the illness in our county. Matt, welcome.
Thanks, Judge, and thanks Fiscal Court for the invitation to come back and update you. I apologize to Deputy Nuss for my erratic acceptance of the meeting request, but I'm excited to announce that we are running a drive-through COVID vaccination clinic today for our healthcare workers. So we're targeting that group first, and I'll discuss that in a little more detail as we move through the discussion. I didn't present slides for this meeting because I didn't have time. We're actually been ramping up our COVID vaccination planning and really getting into the third leg of our response. As you all know, we've been very intent on following up the disease investigation and contact tracing. The second leg, we ramped up our testing capabilities here locally, and now we're into the third phase, and the most exciting phase for most, I think, and that's our vaccination campaign. I do want to caution the community still that we are seeing community transmission of COVID-19. We were concerned about the Thanksgiving holiday, and we were very excited after the holiday that we saw a bit of a decline in case counts. Unfortunately, that hasn't held true for the Christmas holiday season. Over the New Year holiday weekend, we had roughly 175 cases. And as that relates out, you know, it's more than 35 per day. So we're still maintaining an average of new cases daily, about 35. So we want to continue to caution individuals to wear masks, practice social distancing, hand washing, and the environmental controls that have been suggested since the start of this outbreak. But to get to I think the meat of the matter, that is our COVID vaccination campaign, because we're fielding multiple calls, as you might imagine. I know you all are probably fielding those calls as well. We are being truly inundated, and we've been somewhat reticent to publish any information, because if you put a date out there and you can't stick to that target date, people start to criticize and ridicule your approach. But I want to let everyone know for sure we're working tirelessly day and night to roll out this COVID vaccination campaign. The one challenge that we're being faced with now is the scarcity of vaccine. Our original allocation of vaccine, we received 300 doses. Thankfully, we did receive more this weekend. We have an additional 500 doses, and we've also been working in partnership with Baptist Health LaGrange. So if I can, I will lay out for you this, it's a tiered, phased approach that we will be utilizing for vaccinations. The first phase, there's 3 phases, but really it's 4 phases, because phase 1 is a 1A and 1B. In phase 1A, that was the EMS staff, which was actually vaccinated by Baptist Health LaGrange, our staff here in the department, and our MRC volunteers that are going to help us with the vaccination campaign moving forward. The next group is our hospital workers not previously covered, and that started this week. Today, many of them are included in the vaccines that we're administering today. And then our non-hospital healthcare workers. So all of our populations that practice care, whether it be dental care or primary care, any of those doctors' offices, mental health too, we're reaching out to all of those different entities. And like I said, due to the scarcity of vaccine, we're taking a very targeted approach. We only have a certain amount of appointment slots that we can allow people to register for, so that we don't have to go back and cancel the appointments that they've made. But now that we have more vaccine, we're going to be opening that up. We had a clinic scheduled for today and Thursday. We're going to be opening up another clinic tomorrow and pushing that out to the individuals in these closed pods. And then next week, we'll be operating 4 days, Monday through Thursday, with clinics still targeting the individuals in the phase 1A. And phase 1B is our first responders and essential workers. And thanks to the partnership with Baptist Health LaGrange, those are going to be covered by Baptist Health LaGrange. Really excited and encouraged by the partnership with emergency management. Director Nart is reaching out to all of those individual first responder agencies, collecting contact information to Baptist Health LaGrange. They're going to be making contact to schedule appointments for that population. We plan to have that completed next week. And then ultimately, we start, after we complete this week and next week, our hospital and healthcare worker population, our first responder and essential workers. We go to the next high-risk group, which is our age 70 and over population. The data suggests very clearly that the death risk for that group is much higher, and they should be targeted as it relates to our vaccination campaign. So as it stands now, we're targeting begin that the week of January the 18th. And as we see how this clinic rolls today, and we're able to get some evidence that suggests successes as well as challenges that we might have to overcome, then we'll be able to roll that out more succinctly and more completely to the community. One of the challenges that we are faced with is the data requirements. Any vaccine that we administer, we're required by the CDC to enter the data, do the paperwork, as they say, within 24 hours of vaccine administration. So as you can imagine, if we give 100 or 200 or 500 doses, the data management of the paperwork that needs to be completed the following day within 24 hours matches that number of vaccines being administered. So that is a limiting factor as we move forward. But then ultimately, February the 1st, we hope to start partnering with the schools, Oldham County schools and our private schools in the community to begin vaccinating their staff and both their faculty and staff, and moving through that population, hopefully very quickly. And then phase 2 is our general population with comorbidities. We're hopeful to start that beginning in February sometime. I can't give a date certain today, but as we roll through these clinics and get some more data to manage how effectively we're going to be administering as well as completing the data entry, we'll be able to publish a date very soon. And then after that general population with comorbidities, we move to the larger general population. We're creating new processes daily, as you might imagine, because this is truly a once in a career pandemic. At least we hope it is. But so we're creating new processes, and as we create those new processes, we find successes and challenges that we have to fix and make sure that we do a course correction in some cases. But once we roll this out, there will be a registration process on our website for individuals to do a pre-registration. They'll be able to see the fact sheet for the emergency use authorization. They'll be able to see the HIPAA document that most people are familiar with when they go to their healthcare provider. And then they'll be able to fill out what is called the patient encounter form. Once they submit that to us, they will get a confirmation back on their email that they submit as part of that. Giving them the appointment date and time certain, and then they'll be able to come here. We're going to have a drive-through clinic where people stay in their car, drive through, get their vaccination. We have an area set out back where people can park and wait the recommended 15 minutes. And thanks again to the EMS partnership, we have staff out there that are on standby in case there are any adverse events so that they can respond and help those individuals that might be having any adverse events. Of the doses that we've administered to date, we have had no adverse events. Some people have had soreness in their arm, and some people said they'd had a headache the following day, but nothing significant to date. So with that, I will stop and answer any questions that you all may have.
All right. Well, that's certainly a good summary. And I know, are you putting this information out on your website as well?
We will be. We have not yet. Like I said, we've been reticent to do that because of the uncertainty, the scarcity of vaccine. It's hard to schedule an appointment and set definitive times if you don't know you're going to get vaccine. But I was comforted by the fact that our resupply order did get met this week, and our second dose of vaccine came in. So hopefully we'll be ready to roll that out in the coming days and clearly communicate to the public what the expectations are moving forward.
How many are you requesting? Like 500 units at a time, or what's our normal request?
Initially, that has been our request. Yes, the first group that we requested was just 300 to make sure that we could get a process in place and start rolling it out, which we have. The second request was 500. And as we see that we can have competence and skill around that administration and data entry, then we'll continue to increase the amount that we order weekly. The challenge with this vaccine, as many of you know, is there's a 28-day requirement for the second dose. So the first 4 weeks, you're going to see a unique individual every day. The second 4-week period, you're going to have to see the same individuals that you saw the first 4 weeks. So in order to make sure that you're hitting new people each week, you've got to expand your human resources and your amount of doses in order to be able to reach more of the population. So that's something that we're working through daily and making sure that we're trying to cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
Do you need volunteers of any kind or assistance to try to ramp up enough people to keep it all moving?
That's a good question. We have a medical reserve corps, which is our volunteer arm through public health. Both medical and non-medical volunteers can volunteer through that medical reserve corps. So if anyone is interested, they can contact us and we can get them hooked up with the individual that helps administer that program.
All right. I think I saw some hands. Magistrate Hawkins.
Hi, Matt. Congratulations on the vaccine campaign. And I apologize. I didn't know you were going to speak today. Otherwise, I would have sent you my question ahead of time. So what I would like to know is how many positive cases we have in our institutions. It's something I've asked before, and I understand they're part of our community. How many are in the institutions? And that would be jails and long-term care facilities. And taking out the probable cases, which are not positive cases for sure. I would like to get an actual number of cases of people walking around, going to school, going to Walmart, in the community. So that would exclude the institutions and the probables and have like exact data on that currently.
We'll do that. I don't have that data available today. Like I said, I was running around earlier trying to help with some of the process issues for our drive-through clinic. So I didn't know that I was even going to be able to make the meeting. And it was like within the last 10 or 15 minutes that I advised Deputy Nuss that I would be here. So I apologize for the erratic response in accepting the meeting request. But if you will send me that specific question in writing, I will get that data for you. And just one point, I hope that anyone that has the virus isn't out walking around in the community. I'm hopeful that they're isolating and staying away from others so that we can cut down on that transmission chain. But we'll definitely get that information and feed it back to you. We do know that we have an increased case count in some of our correctional facilities, but we're also still seeing community transmission as well.
The point of that, the walking around Walmart comment is, not in an institution where they're not walking around and breathing on the rest of us who are walking around.
Sure. Absolutely. I understood the intent of the question. I just wanted to make sure that people understand that if they are sick, that we please request that they isolate.
So will you have this information before the Thursday school board meeting?
If you send it to me today, I will work in earnest to get that for you. Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Magistrate Logston.
Yes, Mr. Rhodes, thank you for your service. I have a technical question, I guess. So all the virus or the shots we're giving out now is Pfizer, right?
No, we're giving out Moderna vaccine.
So are they, was there, I keep seeing these news articles where they were talking about giving just a half a dose of Moderna, which would protect you from maybe getting into the hospital, to be able to give more people the shot. The Pfizer, I heard you couldn't do that too, but I heard that the Moderna, you could cut it in half for the people that are younger and be able to spread it out further than, it's just a technical question I just had on my mind.
Right, yeah. And I've heard that same thing from the news outlets, but haven't heard any guidance from the Department for Public Health from Kentucky. So until we get guidance from them, we would not be changing our course of action.
Well, I know you have it under control. I was just questioning. I just had a question about it.
Yeah, I understand. And to your point, I just don't know at this point in time if that's a possibility. We do know that they're multi-dose vials, so we're actually drawing the dose out of a vial. There's 10 doses in each vial. So if that's the case, then if we can double up the capacity, that's just great news for the community.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question here? I know you said that, obviously hospital workers, patient contact people, even others who work in the hospital, plus first responders, long-term care workers, and so forth. What about our older population? That was in the first phase, but it was the third group you mentioned. Right. I'm getting calls from people that are asking about, is this something you think that they'll be able to start signing up for in the next, on the 18th or sooner?
My hope is that they'll be able to sign up sooner than that. I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to start administering vaccine on January 18th. So there's a pre-registration process prior to that. And I'm working day and night with our contractor to try to make it so that it's as easy as it can be to register. There may be a need for them to have a family member or someone help them, but it provides the necessary details for us up front. If we can get them through that registration process, and ultimately it's all vaccine dependent. So we have to have some assurance that we're going to have vaccine in order to administer it. And again, like I said, you don't want to schedule those appointments out into the future if you're not going to be assured of having the vaccine. But as soon as I receive that assurance and we're able to work the process out so that it's as easy as possible, we're going to sit it out on our website so those that are 70 and over can register. And again, I hope to be able to start administering vaccine on the week of January 18 to the 70 and over population.
Are you ready at this point to start accepting applications for after the 18th?
No, sir.
Not yet.
Not at this point in time. And when we do get ready, we'll send that communication out through all the mechanisms that we can find that will share that information. But I would advise people to watch our website, and it's oldhamcountyhealthdepartment.org, and they can find, hopefully there'll be a very visible button that they can click on to say, schedule your vaccine appointment for COVID.
All right. Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. Excuse me, this ties in with what Matt's saying. The VA Medical Center down on Zorn Avenue is currently contacting veterans they have in their system age 70 and over to determine if they want to have the vaccine. And they're compiling a list so that when they do get the vaccine, they could call people on that list and schedule them for an appointment. So veterans might be aware of that and sensitive to it. If you see a call coming in from the VA, that's probably what it is.
And the question I did hear this morning was that some people thought that this would not be available on a drive-through basis, but I believe I heard you say it would be.
Yes, that's the model that we're performing right now, is a drive-through model. It just helps us expedite people in and out much quicker than people coming into the building.
Magistrate Harrison.
Right, I forgot to mention that is the same model that the VA will be using, will be drive-through.
Great. Anyone else? All right, Magistrate Logston.
If you need, I can help a couple hours a day. Real estate's kind of slow right now. If you need people to help fill out paperwork or something like that, I'm more than happy to spend an hour, 2 hours a day filling out those cards or whatever. So just let me know if I can help you.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the offer, and there may be a need for that. The administrative work around this process is growing daily.
Right, Matt, thank you for being here. Appreciate what you and the other staff at the health department are doing and what all our healthcare workers are trying to accomplish. So please keep us posted and we'll try to relay as much as we can to the community. People are asking and they need it from all sources we can deliver the information from. So
Absolutely.
All
We
right.
appreciate it. If you know a public health worker, please thank them. It goes without saying that the healthcare worker community needs to be thanked and praised for their work, but public health workers have put in a huge commitment throughout the last 11 months. But thank you for the invite. We'll be participating in future meetings.
Right, we're going to meet again 2 weeks from today. We invite you to come back at that time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Let's go on now to the next item on our agenda. And that is the payables. When you're ready, we'll pay the bills.
Make a motion that we pay the payables.
Second.
Any questions on anything in the stack of bills here today? All right, seeing nothing, all in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda here is the under contracts and resolutions, a letter of intent to change our employee reporting system. Melissa Horn, would you like to discuss that? She here?
I'm trying.
Oh, okay. Well, you made it. Can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah, Kevin has to do something so you can see me.
Okay.
Judge, can I ask a question while we're waiting
Sure.
for Melissa? On the sheriff's, did I miss you saying that?
I skipped it. My fault. Yeah.
We'll go back. All right.
We'll go back as soon as we're done with the payables. Bob Noble will come back to you. I'm sorry.
Okay, I can't see you, or you can't see me. It's a Kevin thing. Okay. We would like to replace the current time clock system with a similar module that's offered by Paylocity. And what we spend today now, he says I can do this. Hey,
There you are.
you guys see me now?
Sorry.
That's okay. Today we spend about $16,000 annually for the time clock system we have with paychecks. The module with Paylocity would cost us annually about $5,000. So we would be saving $11,000 a year. The initial setup and the purchase of new time clock devices, if you will, is $9,700. So we end up saving money by going with Paylocity. We also get a more modern system, if you will. This is one that we no longer have to use fingerprints for employees to clock in and out. This system uses tablets, and it takes a picture every time somebody clocks in and out. So that covers our buddy punching possibility by taking that photo. And the additional thing that the new system is going to do is allow our employees to clock in and out with their phone. If we so choose, department by department, employee by employee, but it does give us that option. So
All right.
asking you to approve
All right.
that.
We have a
Judge,
motion.
Judge, that was brought in front of the Finance Committee at the last meeting, and we endorsed that it's a good idea to vote this today.
All right. Is there a
Judge, I'll
second?
make a motion to allow you to sign the letter to intent with Paylocity for the implementation of monthly service fee for time cards keeping.
All right. So
Second it.
moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? Magistrate Hawkins.
What did the 16,000 go for annually? Was that, I'm just thinking the cards, but what was part of that?
It was the usage fee per employee and also the lease of the biometric clocks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed to this change? Seeing none, motion carries 9-0. All right. Now we'll go back to our sheriff's 2021 calendar year budget and annual order setting maximum salaries for the sheriff's department. Bob Noble is here with us, I believe.
Actually, it's Lori. Bob's here with me, but I'm going to be the one presenting the.
All right. All right.
Yeah, like you said, it's the 2021 calendar budget for the state, along with the annual order setting the deputies and assistants' salaries. We actually do a calendar budget along with the fiscal court budget.
All right.
So I don't know if y'all have any questions. A couple of our areas, categories or receipts, have gone down a little bit because of the COVID. And that all has to do with like our paper service as far as warrants, evictions, along with our transports, which, we understand with the COVID situation, along with we're not doing fingerprints anymore. That's all being set up through Kentucky State Police and the FBI to be done digital. That information can be found on our website. So is there any other questions y'all have about the figures for the budget or the salaries?
What do you think your overall deficiency is, percentage-wise or dollar-wise?
Well,
I know like CDW is down quite a bit.
Actually, believe it or not, it went up higher.
It did,
Yeah,
okay.
actually, I guess everybody decided with COVID or what was going on, maybe too with all the protesting. But our numbers in the carry to conceal went up higher. Like I said, the areas where we lost is considering the paper service and then court security, which we get paid for, like across the street. If they serve the warrants versus percentage wise, it really wasn't maybe a 25% deficit, but we actually made up money in other areas. We
Okay.
actually made more money, brought in more money than what I budgeted for last year in other areas. So, you know, it's hit or miss right now, but we're still doing very well.
Okay.
Would you like to announce what the sheriff's budget is for the year?
Yeah, the sheriff's budget, calendar budget for the year is going to be $2,254,000.
Okay.
Is what we're predicting.
It's what you're predicting.
Yes, yes.
All right.
And then I just,
Anybody have any other questions that they'd like to ask about the budget?
do you want me to say something about? Oh, can and this has nothing to do with that, but can I ask a question on the COVID testing for the health insurance for our office? Real quick?
Okay, well, let's take care of this first.
Okay,
Then we'll do that.
okay.
Okay. All right, is there any other, any questions here? So is there a motion to accept the sheriff's budget for the coming?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll get to the salaries in just a second here. Lori, what was your question?
Well, when they were talking about the COVID vaccine, and you know, in the stages it was going through, and of course 1B was going to be the first responders, which was for next week, and essential workers. Can you tell me who would be considered essential worker? I guess my question is would it be like our staff in the sheriff's office? Would we be considered essential worker?
I think you'll have to ask the sheriff. You'll have to ask the health department that question.
All right, I didn't know if I need to ask you.
You know,
I will make sure and do.
we don't know what the answer to that is. They are able to finally grade the circumstances. You're not working in a jail. You're not working in a hospital. You're basically clerical functions in the sheriff's department. So I feel that honestly that you probably would not be in the first wave of people, although you are working with the people who are in the first wave. So
right. No,
that's something that they need to determine.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right, now let's move on to, we have to set the salary schedule for this year. You have suggested that to be at $1,745,000.
Yes.
Your department has. Would you like to tell us how you arrived at that figure?
Well, usually what I do is I go by where we were last year, take into consideration if there was increases in retirement figures. And then this year, I went over $55,000 more than last year for salaries. And that was partly due to, with us, we finally have 9 deputies. So that brings that we haven't had that in a couple years. So I took that in consideration with the salary too. And then there's a possibility with when the new courthouse is open and getting ready to run next year, that we're going to have, well, this year, I'm sorry, for down at Crestwood, we're going to have to maybe hire some part-time court security to handle the magnetometer that they'll have. Not all those figures are in there, but that might change because we're really not going to know for maybe 3 or 4 months down the road.
Right.
So what I do is just like you said, the
Okay.
salary is based on, like I said, all the deputies and the clerical and the chief's salary, along with putting in the Social Security, retirement, and everything else.
And how much would you say you've built in as a contingency for the unexpected? Did you say 55? Is that what you said?
And it could change.
Right.
So right now, just 55.
Okay, fine. And so, all right. Is there a motion that we accept this amount for the sheriff's staff and benefits for the coming year?
So moved.
Second.
Does anyone have any questions or discussion on this? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Lori, just for your information and for everybody else on Zoom today, the new courthouse, the temporary courthouse in Crestwood is expected to open February 1st.
Yes, yes, we do know that, but they just don't know because of if we're going to have open court, is if we'll need to bring the new people in by then. If court continues how it is on Zoom, we won't have to be in that big of a hurry. So, but yes, but thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda now, and that has to do with our Oldham County EMS ambulance block grant application. EMS is asking for us, they need our support or my signature to apply for a $50,000 grant from the Kentucky, who is it, Emergency Ambulance Board? Somebody along that line got a name similar to that somehow here. Does anybody have, I guess here's Keith Smith. All right, Keith, there you are.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and tell us.
Yes, sir. It is it's a yearly grant that county EMS services can apply for from the Kentucky Board of EMS. Typically, each county that applies that qualifies, excuse me, is eligible to get around $10,000. However, if they have a windfall of money, they may possibly give more than 10,000, but usually it's around 10,000. And so long as the judge executive from each county signs the application indicating that they are in favor of the EMS service receiving the money, typically we get it with no questions asked. And I've spoken with the Oldham County Ambulance Taxing District regarding these funds, and if we are able to get it, we would like to use the money towards purchasing new defibrillators for the apparatus that we currently have. The defibrillators we have now, some of them are getting to their end of life stage where we can't get supply parts for them to be able to repair them. So this $10,000 would be very helpful in putting towards that expense.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Is there a motion that we, first of all, let's get this on the floor. Motion we allow me to sign this grant application.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion. Magistrate Hounds.
Keith, I'm confused because you said 10,000, but the amounts for 50,000. Are we, if there's more money left over, then we're okay with getting more than the 10,000? Is that what we're trying to do?
Absolutely. Any free money we can get, we'll go for it.
Okay, but we typically only get $10,000.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And if memory serves, at 50,000, that only buy one defibrillator, right?
On the current economy, yes. However, right now we are in the process of bidding out new equipment, and some of the prices that we received before it went out to bid suggest that we might be able to get a better deal to where we won't be paying that much for the new equipment. So we may be able to do better than what that original price looked like.
And to the defibrillator piece, and you probably know what my next question is going to be. Are we looking at the first responders? Because I know the Life Pack, whatever that red box is that I have, is at the end of its useful life too.
Yeah, one of the things that I've actually got in the budget for the ambulance taxing district are new AEDs for the fire departments. We're able to get the AEDs at a greatly reduced cost from what we have been able to get them from in the past. And for the court's knowledge, what has been done years ago was when the fire department started doing EMS first response with us, each fire department was given up to 3 AEDs through a grant that the state had in order to be able to support us. Those AEDs that Chris is talking about has gotten to the end of their life cycle as well. So we are looking at starting to replace those as well with the ambulance taxing district.
And I know because I'm on the finance committee, I believe that there were 1 or 2 departments that asked for AEDs, and I don't know if they bought them or not, but keep the county in mind. Fiscal court may be interested in replacing some of ours or purchasing. I can't remember if it was animal control or somebody was looking for one, but just keep that in mind, please.
The pricing that we're able to get is much better than what the economy is. The ones we're looking at right now are about $1,200 a piece, whereas if you were to go out and buy them on the economy, they're about $2,000 to $2,500 a piece.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on this topic? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 One opposed? All right, motion carries 9-0. Keith, I want to congratulate Keith. Some of you may or may not know that Keith has been, I think, with our ambulance service in Oldham County and Baptist Healthcare, our predecessor, Oldham County EMS, for, I guess, probably 12 years or 13.
Mhm.
I know when we made the merger between the hospital and fiscal court in 2012, Keith was here. He's continued to operate the system and rise in the ranks, and is now responsible system-wide for all Baptist Hospital emergency services with related to ambulances and transportation and things like that. So we congratulate you, Keith, and recognize you for your skill and success, and wish you the best as you expand all your responsibilities.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate that very much.
We appreciate you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda here is the release of some performance bonds. Jim Silliman, it's all yours.
Thank you. So the first, the Pond Creek Section 1, they've passed inspection and met the requirements for release of their performance bond, and I'm recommending the fiscal court move to release this bond.
Make that motion, Judge.
Likens, all right, motion made and seconded. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Next.
And I should have noted, let the record show that that bond amount was $22,000. The second item would be to actually accept those roads within that section into the county maintenance system. Those roads are as described in a memo attached in your packets, but I'll also read it here. It's Pond Creek Drive from station 0+00 on the plans to Kentucky Highway 1793, a length of 750 feet. Churchside Drive from station 0+10 at Pond Creek Drive to station 9+15 for a total of 905 feet. And Allison Court from Churchside Drive to the cul-de-sac, a total of 292 feet. This is a total of 1,947 feet, or approximately a third of a mile. And again, with the release of the bond, I'm recommending the fiscal court accept these roads into the maintenance system. This was discussed at road committee today and was recommended from the road committee.
Make that motion.
Okay. Magistrate Likens made the motion. There's a second.
Second.
Second, Magistrate Greenwell. All right. Any discussion? Magistrate Likens?
Yes, sir. Jim, I thought that when we released a performance bond that they were automatically taken into the county road system. Is that not correct?
No, sir. We've, the way I understand it and have been, I guess, taught is we need to have this separate motion to be on record and have it separately in the minutes that these roadways, and then we can process them appropriately.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposition, nay. Motion carries 9-0. Continue on.
Certainly, thank you. So third item, this is the recommendation to release the erosion control bond for the East Kentucky Power Site, the Bluegrass Dual Fuel Project. This site is located in Magistrate Hawkins District between 146 and Commerce Parkway. And again, similarly, they have met the requirements of the bond, and we're recommending the court release their bond.
All right, this is an
The amount of
$58,285.
Yes, sir.
The motion to release this bond?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Anybody like to discuss any of this?
Did this go through road committee also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All 4 of these went through road committee.
Okay, thank you.
All right, seeing no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and lastly, for me, I have the recommendation to release the erosion control bond for Brentwood Residential Subdivision, Section 3. That one is located in Mr. Magistrate Dye's district. The amount is $36,800, and similarly, they have passed inspection for release recommendation.
I'll make that recommendation, Judge.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that the erosion control bond for Brentwood Section 3 be released, $36,800 returned to the developer. Now, all in favor, or any discussion on it, first of all? And all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? This motion carries as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item here under personnel action and board appointments, we have the reappointment of the county engineer. Tina?
Good afternoon. We have the reappointment of Jim Silliman as our county engineer with a term to expire 4 years from now, which is January 21st, 2025.
Make that motion, Judge.
I will
I'll
second.
second.
Moving second. All right, this is a statutory position, and that's why it's appointed for a 4-year term. Jim, as I might say, has done an excellent job since he's come with us, and I'll get kudos from across the county, and appreciate what he's done. Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. And I just would like to say I agree with you about how good a job he has done. And then my other comment is, I think we're 2 years into his employment. So did we just approve him for 2 years the first time, or how does that
Yes.
work?
We chose to do it for 2 years. You have 2 or 4-year appointments.
I see.
So
Okay.
the initial appointment was for 2 years.
Any other questions? Magistrate Logston.
I just want to say, Jim, thank you for your hard work. Anytime I have a question, you're always there to answer them for me. I appreciate your service.
Magistrate Dye.
I'd like to echo what everybody said. Jim, you do a great job, you and your staff. They all work well together. You work well with planning and development. So I get a lot of the developers that I speak to, they're very satisfied with it. I think the court's very satisfied. So hope you get this 4 years and many more.
All right, Jim is the Magistrate Likens.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what those other magistrates said. As you probably remember, I was a big fan of Scott Harris and hated to see him go, and kind of had tongue in cheek when Jim Silliman came on board. He had to kind of prove himself to me, and me being a registered engineer myself, he certainly has passed the test, and I'm grateful for the job that he does. Thank you, Jim.
All right, thank you. We'll take a vote of approval here in just a second. Jim's also been able to expand, besides with fiscal court. I think he's been active in his industry association with other engineers. He's been involved there, and I recently recommended that he be able to join the Board of Health. We had an opening for a professional engineer on the Board of Health, and Jim was accepted by the other members of the board as a member there. So I appreciate his willingness to do that, and look forward to having him there with us. So, all right, is there any other any other comments here? So everyone who's willing to have Jim Silliman continue as our county engineer for the next 4 years, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, all in favor, all of you passed, Jim, with flying colors here. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. And again, it's a group effort, but I appreciate the thanks.
That's right. We're all a team here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're on to the Code Enforcement Board, and I have a new appointment here to the Code Enforcement Board, and that is Mike Prather. Many of you know Mike. He's a graphic artist in our community, lives down in Heather Hill. He's well known and helped us at fiscal court on a number of issues, with as far as graphics and design, things like that. And I believe Mike will do a good job on the Code Enforcement Board. He did a good job as president of the Oldham County Country Club when he was in charge there, and is a dedicated community member. So I'd like to recommend that Mike Prather join the Code Enforcement Board.
Judge, I've known Mike since ninth grade. A great guy, be a great person on the board. I'll make that recommendation also.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
All right, so that's a move. I moved and you seconded. So discussion, Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. The only concern I have is, would this action preclude us from using his professional services in the future? Because he seems to have an extensive list of tools in his toolbox with talents that we could probably use.
Well, I don't think we wouldn't use him in relation to anything that had to do with planning and zoning. And this is a subset of Planning and Zoning Code Enforcement Board. As long as there's a clear line of no connection between, I guess that was probably improper English there. As long as there's no clear connection between anything we might ask him to do for graphic arts and the working on the code board, I don't think it'd be a problem. If somebody thought it was a problem, we could refer it to the Ethics Committee for, the decision.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone, Magistrate Hawkins?
Is this a paid board position, and is he replacing somebody that stepped down, or did they get asked to leave their position, or is this an open new position?
No, this was, I've responded to requests to broaden participation on boards with people who haven't been on boards. And that's been one of my goals from the beginning here. But I generally, honestly, have let people serve 2 terms. And the individual was replaced here, had been 2 terms on the board. And so that's generally enough on all boards to give everybody a broader chance in the community to have a chance. There are few exceptional circumstances where somebody may just have a skill set that is not easily replaced. Code Enforcement Board's a position that requires, common sense and a feeling for the community and the listening to the assistance provided by our Planning Commission people. We've revamped a little bit how the code enforcement works. The code board, code enforcement officer has the ability to issue fines right now. We didn't have that, in the past. Everybody who would not cooperate had to appear before the board, and then they were generally given a chance to correct their behavior, and it strung things out a lot further than it needed to go. At this point, we issue a fine, and if they can appeal their fine to the code board, if they don't react, they get a bigger fine. We hate to have to enforce fines on people, but unfortunately, across a broad range of people, there are some who just simply won't cooperate in a reasonable way for maintaining their property in a respectful manner. Junked RVs and travel trailers and tires and all kinds of things laying around in a residential neighborhood are not appropriate. So we get on that and try to keep people, encourage them to clean up first, but we have to have a little bit of authority behind it if they just won't see things from the community point of view. So, right, this is a new position, and it was in response to the request that we broaden participation on boards.
Is there a financial compensation?
Not exactly. It gets $75 a meeting.
Okay.
All planning commission related commissioners get, is it 75 or it might be 100? I'm not sure. Planning commission, I think, gets $100. I believe these get 75. So
Thank you.
I think it's $100 a meeting.
That's what I thought it was too.
for these,
For the
all-
planning
all-
commission.
Okay. We've varied that up and down as time went on. It can take multiple hours, like a half a day sometimes if you get the right situation, or all day in regard to the planning commission. So.
On the evenings.
Right, they're measured to lichens.
Judge, whatever it is, it's not worth it. That's just a lot of work.
Financially, it's worth it from the point of view that you're
Yes.
participating in helping your community be a good place to live. But you will not make any money on these boards. And virtually all the rest of them that, except maybe the Oldham County Water District, all the rest of them are scot-free. You don't get anything. You don't even get that. So, and people who get on this aren't there for the check. They're there because they want to contribute and be a useful member of the community. Is there any other discussion on this? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, now I believe Magistrate Dye had something he wanted to bring up after this item. So Magistrate Dye.
Thank you, Judge. I just want to let the court know that the Finance Committee will be having a special meeting next week regarding an issue with the Oldham County Police Department on a consideration of a shift change, going from 8-hour shifts to 12-hour shifts. So if you have any interest in that and voicing your opinion, I will be sending out the date and time, and it'll be on Zoom. And I got some feedback. Somebody's saying, Brent's going to have to get somebody to quiet down there. But anyway, it'll be next week, so I will give out the time and date. And if any magistrates or anybody listening would like to hear about it, then you're more than welcome to attend that meeting. That's it.
All right, thank you. All right, we don't have any public comment that is, come to us through the chat line here. So we'll be ready to wind up our meeting in just a couple of minutes. We'll have a few closing comments from magistrates if you have any. Magistrate Logston. All right, I think I read your lips there.
Nothing, Judge.
All right, Magistrate Greenwell.
Judge, I was just thinking about this vaccine rollout and how the governor's already said it's not going as fast as it should. And I just wish the federal government would turn it over to Amazon, and I think everybody be vaccinated within about 2 weeks, I think. So.
It may happen. I know. When you're waiting for something, things always seem to go slower than what you want them to, particularly when you're waiting for something like this. But I do feel that we have come a long way, and considering how fast these vaccines have been developed in this circumstance. And 12 months ago, we weren't wearing masks. We weren't talking about COVID. We were basically unaware of what was coming. And so a lot has happened, and the distribution of this is probably a tremendous challenge that you'd have to be involved in it yourself to understand exactly what all the steps are and what's happening. But I agree that I'm amazed that I use Amazon. I don't. Sometimes I wish I didn't, but I've been to stores where you can't find what you want. You go online and it's right there, and it can be at your house the next day. And that's a unbelievable circumstance. I had a picture of who is it that is our billionaire owner of Amazon? I can't think of his name right this second.
Bezos.
Bezos.
Yeah, Mr. Bezos had a picture I put on him a few months ago on Facebook of him in the 1999, I guess it was, sitting at his desk all by himself with a computer and a bottle of Coke, and he was working his idea. And it's how beautiful is that you can have an idea that makes you the richest man in the world in 20 years that came out of nowhere. You know, that's why everybody wants to come to America. You know, so just have to do it in a way that's orderly and safe and protects our existing jobs. Okay, we'll keep commenting on that, but Magistrate Hawkins.
Okay, I would like to get a consensus of others on the court. I know you said going back, we may go back in person for the next meeting. And I've received some good feedback in using this platform. It seems a lot of people watch it. More people watch it seemingly on Facebook than they do a few days later on YouTube. But I haven't talked to anyone else really on the court except for Magistrate Likens about the usefulness of this format in perhaps some of the meetings in the future. And so maybe a discussion to have. It was brought up, maybe the second meeting of each month, we could meet in this platform or something like that. So just want to throw that out there. I think it's a useful platform for many reasons. But the other thing is we're 2 years into our 4-year term, and just wanted to say I'm still grateful to be here.
All right, thank you. All right, Magistrate Dye.
Yes, Judge. On the rollout of the vaccine, it brought me back to thinking the other day about some of the people on the court about my age when they did the rollout of the Salk vaccine. And it seemed like to me that worked out pretty good. Sometimes I wonder if people reinvent the wheel. You know, look at what you did in the past, and maybe that worked just as well. But that's all I got. Thanks.
Hey, thank you. Magistrate Likens.
Thank you, Judge. I just want to pass on the feelings of all the magistrates and offer my condolences on the passing of your little sister, Linda, in the past week or so. And just tell you that we all think about that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was a hard Christmas for us this year. It's still hard. Magistrate Tice.
I have nothing, Judge. Thank you, though.
Thank you. Magistrate Hounds.
Yes, Judge, thanks. I don't know if he's watching, but when we were in session personally, I would give Jay McDowell grief and say, when's the new camera system going to be up and running? And I believe in talking to Jay that we would be able to broadcast the fiscal court over multiple mediums at the same time, where we couldn't do that with our current technology. So I don't know if that's something Jay can maybe send out an email to us and tell us where we are on the new configuration of the new cameras and maybe that we can use in the future to broadcast it on Facebook and other mediums. I asked the members of the public safety group to provide statistics for our February meeting, their run volume. And I was trying to find the information when Keith Smith from EMS was on, but in talking about COVID and everything, in Oldham County, they did over almost 6,200 runs last year, which is a lot for that service. And I think that to Keith's credit and to Oldham County EMS's credit, they do a great job of providing that emergency medical service to us. Thanks for their efforts in 2020 and here's to 2021. I'm sure it'll probably be another increase. It has been year over year. The other thing I was going to say is that we've got the kids maybe going back to school. I know mine are at home now, and hopefully they're going to go back next week. But hopefully people will remember that. And with the weather changing, you know, I've watched the weather every day, and some days, like it was yesterday, we had freezing fog and some slick spots and that. I just ask people to take a few minutes if you have to park your car outside, let it warm up and clean the whole windshield, and not just part of the windshield, you know, that little portal hole that you can see out of. Try to get more than that of the windshield. because it's very dangerous. And the person the other day that had their window rolled down, their head sticking out, that was equally dangerous. So just take a few extra minutes and clean off your windshield. It'll provide a safe passage for you and for others. Thank you.
I believe that's also illegal.
Piggyback on Magistrate Hounds and Magistrate Hawkins. I got a text from Jay. Jay said all meetings will be live on Facebook once we have the new equipment in. So they will be on Facebook.
But when?
Good. Thank you. Good job.
We're waiting for some equipment to
okay.
get here, and I think patience is running a little bit thin because we've been waiting a little while, but we've all had delays with the COVID thing too. So Jay's working on it and getting it together, and I would like to have it in before we go back into the courtroom. I hear the request to go back in the courtroom. I hear a request to stay on Zoom. We just have to basically take this week by week. Once we get back into the courtroom, I would like to, of course, be able to be on Facebook. We'd like to be on streaming from our own website. A lot of people are using streaming to communicate, to receive information now over their smart TVs and telephones and so forth. And we'd like to be able to stream as well and see our programs live and maybe be able to do more things than just the courtroom. We'll work on it as technology becomes available and as we're able to install it. Magistrate Harrison, I think you're the cleanup batter here. So
all right. Thank you, Judge. I've got three things here. One, the river is up, the Ohio River at Westport, but it crested, I believe, yesterday, and it is receding, and it should be back to normal pool possibly by Saturday. Again, in Westport, the burned out house on Jacob Drive has been purchased by a quality builder from here in Oldham County, and he's in the process of reconstructing it. And I think when he gets finished, it'll be something that the people in Westport be proud of. It's not his first rodeo, and I've seen other houses he's done. There was an issue that came up with the road committee and also safety today on golf carts. And this is just a heads up to those of you out there who may be allowing your children to drive around the neighborhood in a golf cart. There is an ordinance to that effect. And it's ordinance number 16-250-211. You can go to the county website and look under the book of ordinances. In order to be on a public road, it must be activity associated with a golf course. The operator must be a licensed vehicle driver, and there are also other rules that apply to it. So we just don't want to see people injured in golf carts in places where they do not need to be. So there'll be more information coming out on that later. Be careful and be safe.
all right, thank you. I'm just happy to start a new year. We're into the second half of this term, and we have a lot of irons in the fire here. I'm not going to delineate them all, but just say that this is going to be a good year for Oldham County. We're going to move the ball forward, try to do things to improve and enhance the services and the living standards in our community here. I appreciate working with all the members of the fiscal court, as well as the other boards, commissions, and just and ordinary citizens in our community. So we thank you all, and we look forward to a good, happy year, particularly if we can get the masks off and the COVID behind us. So in reverse order, I guess, but whatever, if we can make some progress. So in just a moment, we'll be going to a meeting of the Oldham County Public Facilities Construction Corporation. That meeting is made up of the three magistrates on the building committee, as well as the county judge and Stan Clark. So you're all invited to stay and watch, but that is a meeting participated in by those people, I mean. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion adjourned, meeting adjourned.